My ADHD held me back in so many different ways, and I'm just going to talk about that now because we need to understand that in a different way. And I know we all have different ideas about taking medication, and I was really confused and uncertain of whether or not I was going to do that. So I'm going to talk about my experience now because it's been a little bit of time. Many of you know I started this channel, ADHD at 70, last year when I was 70, because it was so odd to me that I hadn't known this, hadn't figured it out in all this time, and here I am, a person with ADHD. And then I had to question whether or not I was going to take the medication. Now, one thing that I do, I'm intuitive. And a lot of people with ADHD are intuitive as well. We all are, but sometimes it's just a different configuration that we might see it a little bit more. And so, but I would never allow it to come through. And because of the ADHD, it was always very confusing. I thought it was odd. And so when I before taking the medication, I decided to do Adderall. Fortunately, that worked for me. And people, the doctor, we just had to find out. But the first day, because what I do, in case you don't know, every single day I sit and meditate and I receive information and I publish it. It's on my site, anyadvicefortoday.com. And if you haven't been there, I publish it every day. And I was afraid that it was going to be, if I took this medication, that it was going to disrupt things. And as before I started, I did my meditation, and my guide said to me, no, it's not going to disrupt anything. It's going to make it better. I promise you that's what I heard. And I go, really? And then I started doing my meditation, and I thought, oh, that was right, because it was like something got connected. We are walking around our lives feeling disconnected most of the times if we have ADHD that is untreated. Now, you can treat it in many different ways. I have also moved through many other things in my coaching with cognitive behavior training because I just developed it, but I didn't even know I was doing that. My intuitive side had me develop things that was really effective for me to get through my life and to start to understand things. But I will say that with the medication, it's accelerated for me. Now, it's going to be different for everyone, obviously, but for me, that is what has happened. And it's still a bit, we all know, it's still a bit of a challenge figuring out the dosage, when you're going to have it, when it's going to run away, but you start getting there. I just try to make sure I'm getting my stuff done when I know that I'm still, still connected, so to speak, and then other times I can let it go. And then I'm going to get to the place where I won't need it at all. That's what I know will happen for me. I did that with my depression 20-some years ago. I had to go on medication for a while, but I understood what was happening, and I knew I needed to change my brain chemistry, and I knew I could do that if I worked on it with my focused attention for quite a while, and then that changed, and I no longer needed that. I'm pretty sure the same thing might happen here. I know it's happened for many others. So it's different for every single person. But what I do when I work with someone, I'm finding the thing that is right for that client. What is right for that client, and intuitively, I'm finding that a lot of the time. So it's a little bit different. However, what I do know is that we have been disconnected from the value of who we are and what we could offer the world when we are not acknowledging or treating our ADHD in whatever way we choose to do that. Whatever way we do it, it's going to be beneficial. But I just had to talk about this today because there's so much going on. I talked about there was a model who killed herself recently, and you probably heard that. She was a former Miss USA. She was an attorney, you would think really successful and just a wonderful person, but she was hiding that other part of herself that was sad, that was uncomfortable. And a lot of times when you have ADHD, those are the results of that. Sometimes it looks like depression, and people are getting medicated for that, and sometimes it doesn't work because that's not really what it is. You just needed a little more dopamine, that's all. And you needed it to be regulated, all of that. So I just wanted to give you that, and especially in light of when we're talking about mental illness and what's going on. And again, I don't see it as an illness. And when I work with people, I'm a life purpose coach, as you know. When I work with you, I think if you're given something like this, it's not a disability. It was something that you were given to develop more ability. That's all that it is. So think about it in a new way. And if you'd like a consultation, be sure and check my links, and you can schedule one there. And we'll see what we can come up with. All right, you guys, have a good one.